You're watching Shalom TV, celebrating Jewish culture. Funding for Shalom TV has been provided by the following. And by viewers like you.
Blessed are you, O Lord, our God, King of the universe, who created the fruit of the vine.
Anyone here ever have someone who's not Jewish to your Passover Seder? They love that, right? They love it more than we do. They love the songs. They love the questions that we ask, and then we answer with the stories. The only time it gets awkward is when? After the meal, right? Because what do they say? Wow, that was really good. Where's dessert? And you're like, well, you gotta go look for that. And they're like, look for it? Wow, it must be really yummy if I'm looking for it. You're like, oh yes. Imagine a saltine blown up 10 times its normal size with no salt. And it constipates you till Labor Day. It's under the sofa covered in puppy hair. Go find it, I'll give you a nickel. After Yom Tif, which means never.
My dad was like, you need to find the afikomen this year. I don't care if you shadow whoever's like hiding it, you know, please don't go through their things, but make sure you're the one who finds it. Because again, he wanted to beat him just like the guy beating him in tennis, and it was all just a lovely spirit, very spiritual evening. So finally, so they hid the afikomen, and I went to go look for it, and I suddenly just saw the tip of the like matzah sort of like sticking out in this cloth in their couch, and I wanted to get it. And I was also being like pushed by my father's greed, so I was really out of control and not in my own mind. So I went running down the hallway and jumped over the couch like a lunatic, and I tripped and broke my nose on their coffee table. So that is my story. I've never told it out loud until now. It's very cathartic. But yeah, the guy that I was like in love with had to take me to the hospital, and he was like furious and annoyed because like I ruined his night of drinking. And I was just like sort of trying to flirt with him still while I was like holding my nose, and it was very sexy. So that's a little sexy memory from Passover. But I'd like to invite everyone to break the matzah with me, if that's cool. The middle one, yes, the middle one, thank you. 1, 2, 3. Thank you guys, thank you so much for having me here. Happy Passover.
I believe that anything, when I'm available, when I'm not busy, I'm very busy these days, that anything that is Jewish and that is part of the tradition, I participate. So I'm going to participate tonight.
To know her is to adore her. Please welcome Dr. Ruth.
So, this is a very first for me. Since I was an only child in Frankfurt am Main, and I do remember very well that I said the Manishtanah every year. And now on June 4th, I'm going to be 83rd. And look what Michael Dorf made me do. He made me say the Manishtanah. But in typical Dr. Ruth Westheimer fashion, I found a good-looking young musician, Noah Salomon, who is going to do the Manishtanah with me. And after the first verse, all of you are going to say and to sing it together. So I'm very delighted to be here. Michael, So that is a very first that I'm doing the Manishtana for the past, I don't know, 100 years. So, 1, 2, 3. Manishtana halayla mikol haleilot, mikol haleilot, shebechol haleilot, anu ochlim chametz umatzah, chametz umatzah, halayla hazeh, halayla hazeh, kulo matzah, halayla hazeh, halayla hazeh, kulo matzah. All of you, whoever is going to join now for the next 3 verses, Michael, you too, I promise you good sex for the rest of your life. It's fantastic for a big group to come together to celebrate the Yetziat Mitzrayim, the coming out of Egypt. And maybe there are some people here who don't have a big family and who are lonely, so it's a wonderful way of celebrating a Seder together. Whoever sings the Manishtana, everybody watch. You have to bend down.
Let everybody say it hard for me.
So we took an old gospel tune, we reworked it, and turned it from major to minor to make it Jewish. Because we're happy while we're sad.
Now that's it, Moses, yeah. Smite that rock. Smite that rock, oh. Smite that rock, yeah. God said Moses. Smite that rock. Rock, Lord, thank God. Take your shoes off, Moses, you're on holy ground. You're holy ground, you're holy ground. Take your shoes off, Moses, you're on holy ground.
Folks, I have to say, first of all, I'm really kind of embarrassed. I thought we were celebrating Purim. I don't want you to think, though, that I had no religious training at all. I don't come from infidels. It's just that things were a little bit different in my family because my father didn't understand some Jewish traditions. So the Tannenbaum family would gather at the Passover table, and my father would bring out the prayer book. Well, he didn't know that in Hebrew you read from right to left, and you start in the back of a book and you move to the front. So he would bring out the Passover prayer book and he would open it to the front page, and he would read the first words that he saw, and those words were, "The Seder ends." And then we would eat. They tried to kill us, we survived, let's eat. They tried to kill us, we were faster on our feet. So they chase us to the border, there's a parting of the water, tried to kill us, we survived, let's eat. Let's eat.
As well-versed in jazz, pop, and even hip-hop projects, but his classical repertoire has earned him a role in major concert halls throughout Europe. He is anything but simple. Please welcome Uri Kane.
So like Michael said, we're Stereo Sinai, and we do pop music in biblical Hebrew. It's called Bubblegum Pop. So the song that we're going to do is about getting answers, even if you don't ask the question.
Almost שמח. חג שמח, everybody. Scent of magnolia, sweet and fresh, and a sudden smell of the burning flesh. Here's a fruit for the crows to pluck, for the rain to gather, for the wind to suck, for the sun to rot, for the tree to drop. Here is a strange, here is a strange and bitter cry.
Doing Dayenu because, you know, come on, we're Jews, nothing is sufficient, okay? So, this evening's Dayenu is dedicated to one of the most prominent and wonderful Jewish entertainers of our time, Chaim Sheen, ladies and gentlemen. Chaim Sheen. If he had a tiger mom instead of tiger blood, Diano! If he had said whining instead of winning, Diano. If he had only one goddess and she had her GED, if he had simply destroyed the hotel room and attacked the prostitute, but had not had his wife and kids across the hall. If he had called his boss a contaminated maggot and not used his Hebrew name. If he would realize that he is the half in 2.5 Men. If he had not made Ike Turner seem dateable. Would have been funny if I didn't f that up. All right, anyway. If he had not made me feel that no matter how crazy my fights are with my girlfriend, we're never as mashugana as he is. If he had realized that you can't write a stand-up act in 2.5 weeks. If he had lived a seedy, destructive, ignorant, offensive, delusional, self-centered life, but had not broadcasted constantly every minute of every goddamn day. And if he had made me feel that if I had 2 calls coming in, one from Ann Coulter and one from Charlie Sheen, that I would gladly rather talk to Ann Coulter. Die, die, anu, die, die, anu, die, die, anu, die, anu, die, anu, die, anu, die, die, anu, die, die, anu, die, die, anu, die, anu, die, anu. Thank you very much, everyone.
So listen, I was looking around the room, and I noticed that there are some pockets of places where you can get up and shake your toches, okay? I am asking right now for your indulgence because I am channeling Debbie as much as I can. Debbie was a personal role model to me. She was also a beloved figure to many, many people. And I am very deeply honored that Michael asked me to introduce Miriam's Cup and this song. All right, just move that body. And Debbie always said, I really don't care if you sing on key, you just gotta raise your voice. And Miriam was a weaver of unique variety. The tapestry she wove was one which sang our history. With every strand and every thread she granted her delight. A woman touched with spirit, she dances for the light. Here we go. 5, 6, 7, 8, and follow Miriam as she sang a song. Sing a song to the one whom we've exalted. Miriam and the women dance and dance the whole night long. Yeah, you sound great. When Miriam stood.
This entire Jewish enterprise is basically one gigantic effort to maintain this set of collective memory. We don't make pilgrimages to far-off places with our feet. We make pilgrimages in our minds to far-off times. We sit here around a Seder table, as we've done for generations, to engage in the quintessential act of Jewish memory. We remember that we were slaves in Egypt. And we pretend, if for only a second, that we're slaves there now.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Michael.
It's worth pausing for a moment to reflect on just how we're doing this and how extraordinary it is. We don't just recollect, we actually reactualize. We point to the matzah and we say, this is the bread of our affliction, and then we afflict it upon our intestines for 8 days until we need an enema to take a dump. Dayenu. We're not just bringing back something from the past, we're actually re-engaging with something in the present and recontextualizing a memory in the light of who we are today. We have memories so that we can use the past to find sense in the present and interpret the future. And that's the genius of Jewish memory, and that's the amazing thing about what we're doing here tonight. Our tradition calls on us. It doesn't just invite us, it actually demands of us that we not just eat matzah, but that we sit around a table and have a conversation about what matzah means. To have a Seder is, by its very definition, to recontextualize our memories of this seminal event, to do what our neurons do every time we remember anything. To remember this memory every year, to renew it anew, to find in it and in ourselves something different. Chag Sameach.
Because we were bitter when we were in Egypt, and I don't think any of us today can really understand the degree of bitterness. Sure, I'm bitter, but I get to talk about it with my psychologist. But in Egypt, they weren't able to do that. They didn't have someone saying, how does it feel when Pharaoh makes you make bricks without straw? Does it make you angry? They didn't have that. I also Googled maror, which of course means bitter herbs in Hebrew. I know that because I went to Hebrew school for 12 years, and that was one of the 7 words of Hebrew we learned in 12 years of Hebrew school. I tell my non-Jewish friends I went to Hebrew school for 12 years. They're like, oh, so you speak Hebrew? I'm like, no, why would you think that? But I don't know why they call it Hebrew school. That would be like going to medical school and people saying, so you're a doctor? No, of course not. But I know how to read medicine. Thank you so much.
Someday I'm gonna make it happen. Someday I'm gonna make it happen. But if not now, then when? Try that with me. Rabbi Hillel Omer, if I'm not for myself, who will be for me? If I'm only for myself, what am I? And if not now, then when? I was thinking about, at this Pesach Seder, we learn so much about freedom, but we are our own pharaohs. We are guilty of holding ourselves back from whatever it is that we want to do. Oh, no, no, at the end of the day, I don't want to say that I could've, should've, would've, didn't, but now it's just too late. Sing it with me, someday I'm gonna make it happen. Someday I'm gonna make it happen. Someday I'm gonna make it happen, but if not now, then when?
To King David, wine was all about salvation. And during the Seder, wine to us is also about salvation. We drink 4 cups of wine because each cup represents one of the expressions of salvation used in the Exodus. To our family, wine meant salvation in a very literal way. My grandfather, Eugene Herzog, survived World War II, and he always told us during the Seder, it was his custom that he wouldn't just tell the story of the Exodus and the Jews' of the Exodus of the Jews of Egypt, but he would also tell us the story of his personal survival during World War II. And in his mind, he always survived because of the merit that he made kosher wine with his family for hundreds of years for people to celebrate Seder, Shabbos, Kiddush for so many years. And that's why he felt that my grandmother and his 5 children were able to survive the Holocaust. So when we raise our glass tonight, let's all praise God and thank Him for all the wonderful freedoms that we have in this country. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, baruch pri hagafen.
Rhythm of Andalusia o al flamenco. After all this wine, you're not supposed to know whether this is Hebrew, English, Spanish, Arabic, French, whatever. Just join along, maybe go like this. Maybe you want to join Javier with this. Try to sing this. Everybody. Pasaba por mi acera, en su candela. Hay una legión de saltillos y piratas que de bar en bar le gritan guapa. Me hago seguidor de sus andares de pantera, peregrino donde lo ven en sus caderas. ¿Qué me importa a mí si es un infierno la calle? Si por fin la llevo por el talle. Óyeme bien, tú la reina de las mujeres, y yo, si tú me quieres, seré tu esclavo más bien. Pobre de mí, si de tu fuego me extravío, mi corazón de frío se olvidará de la sobre su perfil.
We had a great time.
Oh,
it was
beautiful.
amazing.
It was a beautiful event.
It was funny.
Yeah.
It was educational in a very weird way.
No, I like the format of it. I like that anything that like breaks the Seder, breaks the order, and does interesting things, I'm into.
The downtown Seder was good, man. You know, I enjoyed it. I really like the gospel singers.
Jewish bluegrass, Jewish gospel, kosher wine.
And Dr. Ruth doing the 4 questions.
Damn, Dr. Ruth! Oh! The comedian with the glasses, the skinny guy. I liked him a lot. He was hysterical.
David Broza. Yeah, David Broza.
Well, I don't think it's going to replace any Seders. I think this is just an addition to Seder, because this was an easy Seder. You know, we got to eat right away.
I host a big Seder every year. I came here to figure out what I wanted in my Seder. So it's nice. I'm actually going to use their Haggadah at my Seder. And I love having Strange Fruit, the Billie Holiday song in it, and all the Freedom Rider, you know, good stuff.
You know what? It's the most genius thing, actually, because this way, you know, you do it a week before, and I got to spend it, you know, with one of my best friends. And then on the Seder, you know, we all go in our own ways, and this way you can, you know, kind of hit like every point you want to hit, so you don't miss anything.
If it did replace, I wouldn't be all that upset.
It was a little weird having matzah a week early, but, you know, kind of like enough, but it worked.
It's the introduction.
Right.
Gets the holiday started.
Exactly. Well done.
One more, yes.
2 more, probably.
Well, let's have 3.
I'll do a first night in a second.
That is our show this evening. Have a good Seder. Passover.